Well, hey everyone, welcome to Land of Success. Tonight I have a very special guest with me, someone I consider to be a really good friend, and he's also now a co-author right, with us in Land for Success. So please help me to welcome my good friend, Mr. Stephen Coon. Stephen, how are you?
Hi, Gordon. Can you hear me?
I can, yes. Yes,
Okay, I think I lost my mic here, but I'm using the computer mic. I'm just making sure everything's okay. You can hear
yes, I
now?
can hear you loud and clear.
Okay, great. Yeah, thank you very much for having me. And I consider you to be a very good friend as well. Thank you very
Thank
much.
you. Well, let's keep this really informal. Would that be okay?
Sure, sounds good to me.
Amazing. And, for any of the folks that are watching, again, it's my good friend Stephen, who is a co-author with us in an upcoming book, Land for Success. This is the first volume. If you guys haven't seen it, you can go to Amazon today and grab a copy. And then we're going to talk a little bit later on how you're going to be able to support Stephen, all the other authors, and how you can get a copy of volume 2 from Burnout to Victory that's going to be coming out. See, let's jump right into it. I know that there's other things we'll be able to talk about on another interview. But for today, for the folks, for my friends who are thinking, okay, who's Stephen Coon? Can you maybe share with the folks a little bit about yourself? Who is Stephen?
Sure, absolutely. And I also want to say thank you for the opportunity, not only for the book, of course, but even just sharing my ideas right now and who I am. And I'm very grateful for knowing you and Jay and of course Lindsay and just very grateful. So without tooting my horn for too much here, I just go into it a little bit. If I was to compare myself from say 20 years ago till now, I'm just giving away my age at the moment, but if I was, I'd have to say today I'm a lot more confident. The main reason that I've actually gained confidence over time is probably through the awareness of education, and the awareness level has raised. I've actually been able to feel comfortable of who I am, my self-image of who I am. I've been able to study, learn for the last about 15 years or so. And that's what I've done. I've devoted myself to learning. So I would consider myself to be able to help a lot of people. I would love to help a lot of people, but at the same time, I consider myself to be able to use the universal laws that we live within, live in harmony with the universal laws. So I'm okay with that now. I understand myself a lot better, and that's basically who I can explain, or how I can explain I am.
Wow. Stephen, you don't even look like you aged. What's going on?
Everyone says that. I don't
Hey?
know what it is. It's my
Wow.
self-image. I always answer that with, it's the way I believe my self-image is. Right.
Wow, that's amazing.
I
That's
go back to
amazing.
Maxwell Maltz, cybernetics.
Cybernetics, yes.
I go back into that book all the time, and he's the best one for teaching that type of information. And for anybody that hasn't read the book, that you have to read this, because once you understand who you really are, everything else is very simple. It's very easy to do.
That's amazing. It's amazing. We'll have to have you come back and talk about that another time.
I would be honored.
Yeah, because I know, this is kind of a sidetrack here. One of your mentors, unfortunately we lost an incredible individual,
Yes.
Mr. Bob Proctor, this week, right? It was just like a few days ago.
February 4th.
Yeah.
Yes, he was. I owe everything to him. In fact, he's actually one of the real reasons of why I feel I can do something in my life. This is why I'm motivated. I have almost looked up to him since he wrote the book, The Secret. I'm sure a lot of people were introduced to him in The Secret. That's where I first was introduced. And once you find out he's fellow Canadian, it turns into a different story. But once you get to this level of being able to meet him and interact with him, he was an amazing individual, and he will always be remembered.
Pretty incredible. Stephen, I remember the first time I met him was in the 80s. And so you're too young for this, right? On the Highway 401 Keel Street.
Yeah.
There used to be a hotel that was called the Triumph Hotel. Do you remember that name? Probably not, because it's changed and so many times. And There was a Canadian Tires behind it, and now there's a big condominium project there, but it's called the Triumph Hotel. And that was when I first met Bob Proctor. So let's jump into the book. For a minute. What inspired you to share your story in Land for Success?
That's a good question. From studying from mentors such as Bob, Raymond Aaron, I mentioned both of them in the book.
Raymond Aaron.
Yeah.
I remember I took a course from him, how to buy real estate with little or no money down.
That was one of his first programs. Yeah. And that goes way back. And of course, I don't think I was around for that, but
yeah.
Yeah. So the reason I want to give back. That's essentially it. You know, after learning from such great people, and I'm still learning, it's a lifelong, you never stop. But I realized that I can't just take all of this information in and just do nothing with it with only myself and keep it to myself. That's it. And a lot of people probably feel the same way. You know, they want to help as much as possible. And partly this is actually living within the universe, living in harmony with the universe by giving, right? So one of the ways, and when you came to me with this opportunity, I thought, wow, you know, this is the right time maybe. And we talked about it and I was really excited about it. And I thought, okay, it didn't take me long to decide that I was actually thinking, because I felt like it was an intuition type of decision where I decided that it's right in line. So that was really the start. I think that was last year. And I started getting into how can I help other people? Well, the first part would be to make awareness of myself. And that was where the book came into play. And, but yeah, I definitely need to make sure that I know there's a big demand for this type of information out there, because even though Bob Proctor was teaching it, he's known for saying this is just a new industry. And I believe the same. It's new 50-year-old industry, say a self-help industry, and you're writing books all related to that industry. So it's, to me, the next step.
That's
and to be able to write a chapter and not have to fulfill the whole book is also an amazing opportunity. Thank you.
Yeah, it's just a short story, isn't it?
Yeah.
What was your experience like? Was it a tough experience? What was it like, your experience? For some of the folks who may be watching, were thinking, man, I can never write. What would you say to them?
Just sit down and do it. I can remember on the phone call with you, Gordon, I was saying, Gordon, I'm going to need 60 days to do this. And you said, okay, do it in 60 days. And it turned out I didn't. It was all in my mind, right? It was nothing to do with 60 days. Wow. It was just a mind thing. But to answer, it's just get something on paper. Always go back to the support that you might have, which would be you, Gordon, and Jay, and of course, Lindsay. She's very good at what she does.
Yes.
So
how long did it actually take then for you to write up that first little draft?
The first draft was one night.
So instead of 60 days,
it
was one night.
Yeah, well, it was a lot of, editing in my part.
Yes.
Like I probably read it about 15 different times, 20 different times over the next 60 days. But the draft in general was one night.
Yeah, that's amazing. And then, you write the draft, you send it into Lindsay. Lindsay's helped me out with so many different series, the Empower Women Succeed series, You Can't Afford the Luxury of Negative Thoughts series. You're into real estate. You and I have such a huge passion for real estate. I see Patricia Lynn Stokes here. Thank you. She's got a huge passion for real estate as well. And so Lindsay's incredible. Like you submit the draft to her, and what was your experience like working with her?
Oh, it was amazing. She made the actual draft turn into something that was amazing, even just by changing simple words that made more sense. I had put some words in there that I liked. Of course, she didn't change anything that I didn't like, so that's good.
Yes.
But I didn't really have to do much interaction with her. She did it all, to be honest.
It's amazing, right?
Yeah, there was nothing I needed to do. I just almost was following her.
Wow, love it. I want to thank Larry Daniels here from Larry Daniels. You guys have so much in common because you guys are both Bob Proctor fans, if I can
Yeah.
use that word, Larry, when it comes to science of success, right? Because Napoleon Hill wrote several books. One of them is The Science of Success, and Larry, in my opinion, it knows more about that than almost anybody that I know. So, Stephen, thank you for sharing your story. I love your story. You're very vulnerable. So, thank you for sharing. So, I want to show the audience this for a minute, if it's okay, Stephen. You have the book launch is where is it? Where is it? The book launch is coming up next Wednesday, right?
Yes.
Next Wednesday. How can anybody who's watching, your friends, my friends, everybody watching the replay later, how can they support you and all the other authors on Wednesday when it's officially launched on Amazon?
I think that the one way they could actually support us is actually by joining us, right? Because if you join us, or if they join us, they're going to understand more about themselves, because
Yes.
this is exactly what we all do when we focus on something in general. I've when you came to me, I told you it was more like an intuition thing. Hey, maybe it's a time to do something and write a book,
Yes.
or a chapter in this case. But I said that I think that.
And I'm glad you did, Stephen.
Yeah, I think if
Right?
they joined us, essentially those people would learn more about themselves, but at the same
Yes.
time is be able to increase whatever the value they have of their life, because
Yes.
they're interacting with people such as
Yeah.
yourself, Gordon.
Wow. So next Wednesday, they can buy the Kindle version on Amazon.
Mhm.
I think it's going to be around $2.99 or whatever respective country you're in. Grab it on Amazon. It's definitely going to help towards, the book reaching bestseller status. We've been fortunate that every book series that we work with, the Empower Women Succeed series, the You Can't Afford the Luxury of Negative Thought series, and so on, they've all been bestseller. We have no doubt that, with your help, Volume 2 is going to hit bestseller as well. We both have a mutual mentor named Raymond Aaron.
Yep.
And Raymond always says, you have to write a
book.
You have to write, right? You have to write a book. Like if you're serious about making money, you have to write a book, and you have to be a published author. Why is it important to be a bestseller?
I would say because you're out of, he calls it the sea of sameness, right?
Sameness, right? Sea
Yeah.
of sameness. Yes.
So you're putting yourself, you're not just a teacher, you're not just a doctor, like I am a doctor, as he says, right?
Yes.
We probably heard him speak like that and teach those lessons. And the book is just setting yourself separate and also giving people an idea of who you really are genuinely, right?
Yes. That's amazing. And go ahead.
I was just going to say about I'm going to actually put it on my website as well. It's very simple. It's just my name, stephencoon.com. There'll be a link there as well.
That's
Maybe
amazing.
not on February 16th, but it'll be there soon.
It'll be there soon, right?
Yeah.
Amazing. Well, Stephen, thank you so much for taking time to be with us. Your story, I can't wait to share your story with the world. Before you go, though, let me ask you this question, okay? If that's okay.
Sure.
If somebody's watching right now, because the book is Untold Stories, because we all have a story.
Yes,
we do. Every one of our stories are important, right? We may think it's not important, but it is. And so if somebody was out there is watching right now, and maybe they're experiencing a burnout, right? Whether it's, the stay order to stay at home. When I went to visit, we talked about it, my grandson in Hong Kong, come on, like 2-week quarantine, that is absolutely ridiculous, right? So there's a lot of people's mental health, mental wellness, financial, they're being bombarded with things that they shouldn't be right now. So they're going through a burnout right now. What would you say to them? Somebody who's experiencing burnout right now.
Oh, okay. Well, there's obviously something causing the burnout, right? It's always stress-induced anxiety. You really have to go back to the basics, ground yourself, making sure you understand what is that cause. It's not the government telling you to quarantine for 14 days. That's not the cause. The cause is the inside, right?
Yes.
So if you're understanding that it comes from within, you know how to solve it. Now, you may not know how to do it tomorrow or the next day, But if you can keep yourself in a positive, and it's not as simple as just a positive mental attitude, but if you can keep that going in that situation, you're always going to be making a better decision or a better life for yourself, because of the law of polarity, right? There's always an up and there's always a down. There's always a good and there's always a bad. So if you're in a car accident, some people might go, that's bad. Oh no, I have to go to the hospital. But essentially, it might be bad, but I only look for the good. So when you're in that burnout situation, you have to change your mentality completely. And don't just why me or poor me situation. Have a desire, have a dream. This is what I wrote about in the book. Make sure your dream is huge. That's what's going to change your life. If I was thinking my dream was huge. It wasn't. For 10 years, 15 years ago, it wasn't huge. And eventually I just kept thinking about it, kept growing it, kept making it bigger, adding energy to it, focusing to it like a laser beam. And it just started getting bigger. And then eventually it just took over. And that's for a different story, a different day. But yeah, you have to get that dream and focus, because burnouts are only temporary. Anything negative or any situation can be only temporary. It depends on you. You choose.
Wow. Burnout is only temporary.
Absolutely. We all get that situation, right? It's how you deal with it, though. It has nothing to do. We're going to get it. Like I said, we might all get car accidents. Somebody rear-ended me not even a month ago.
Wow.
Nice guy.
Wow.
Nice guy.
You weren't hurt, I hope.
Oh, no. My truck barely even got tapped. I wasn't even, I told the guy there's no damage, but there was a little bit. Turns out it was $1,000, but still, nice guy. He could have been a guy that I was going to do business with. The guy was incredible. Like, he was more than nice, right? So I only meet nice people. Just that's the way I am right at the moment. I have bad people that I interact with, but it's
a law of attraction, right?
Yes, absolutely. Mm-hmm.
That's incredible. Well, folks, if you guys are watching, again, this is my good friend Stephen Coon, who's an author in our upcoming book, Land for Success. And the book's going to be released officially on Amazon next Wednesday. Okay, so please, everyone, go and buy a copy on Wednesday. Okay, buy 2 copies, buy 3 copies, buy one for a friend. And I can share with you, Stephen's done his job. The authors have all done their job, and I believe that if you have not, in their story, you're going to find your Landed for Success story. If you haven't found it already, you will, because you have a story as well. And Stephen, before you go, I always like to ask my guests 3 questions as we exit. You okay with that?
Of course, go ahead.
I put you on the spot?
Okay,
I just want folks to get to know you a little bit here, okay? What is your favorite color?
My favorite color is going to be like actually very similar to your sweater you've got on.
Okay.
It's more of a royal blue. I like that.
Royal blue? Okay.
In between royal and navy.
Wow. I think my last 5 guests, 4 picked the color blue.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
Yeah.
I don't have a blue shirt on. I was going to do it, but it turned out to be black today.
There you go. Now, the second question is, if I asked your son, what is your dad's favorite ice cream? What would you say?
Well, I don't think he's seen me eat a lot of ice cream, so he probably wouldn't actually have.
He wouldn't know, eh?
No, he'd probably have to guess, and he'd be looking at me like, "Is that right, Dad?"
Yeah.
I don't know why. Maybe I grew out of it. Of course, when you're a kid, you have ice cream, but I don't remember the last time I had an ice cream cone. No.
It's crazy, eh?
Yeah.
What about, okay, so a yogurt, anything healthier in that area? Yeah.
What's the favorite? Raspberry. Go with the raspberry. Anything raspberry mixed.
Okay. Well, I'm growing strawberries downstairs right now, so maybe we'll have to grow raspberries.
Yeah. Well, strawberries are my second, I'd have to say.
Wow.
The health factor for those berries are pretty good.
That's incredible. Steve, my mom passed away about 10 years ago, and it's funny. She had this raspberry bush in front of the house.
Yeah.
And it just was an endless supply of raspberries. Can you relate to that? Just every year, it just kept on growing. And every time we went, there's an endless supply of raspberry. And the summer after she passed away, the plant died, and it never came back. Funny, eh?
I believe that. She loved that plant. That's for sure. She took care of it, or someone did. If it wasn't.
So that's my raspberry story. But my last question for you is, listen, if you had a magic wand right now, and you could wave that magic wand, and you can do one thing for Stephen, not somebody else. Because I know you, Stephen, you're always trying to help somebody else. I even remember years ago, I don't know if you remember, I had a real estate client and you were making videos. You created some videos for me. Do you remember that at all?
Yeah, vaguely.
They
I
were
do.
like
I think it was.
cartoonish videos. People, talk
Yeah,
about cartoons. Yeah.
I
And
remember that. It was for a real estate brokerage, was it not?
for a real estate broker.
Yeah, that's right.
That was a long time ago. And then, I have lights
It
right
was
now
fun.
for my green screen, and people say, "Well, you're so good with technology." I remember you created something. You didn't even have lights. Didn't you use like, was it floodlights or something like that from Canadian Tires?
No, no.
What were they?
I don't remember the lighting, but it definitely wasn't professional camera
Yeah,
lighting. It was something to do. I knew it was in my. I can
in your
remember the house
garage,
that I was in.
or somewhere?
Sorry.
Didn't you do it in your garage, or was that
No, it was in a hallway, but it
in the
was
hallway?
similar to like a backdrop. And this is the backdrop that I had was a little bit more whiter, but it's because of the light. And I must have
Yeah.
just put some floodlights that I found or something. But you know what? You might have more than you have actually commented on that. And I don't know if that video is still out there. I don't think it is.
I should look for it.
Pardon?
But imagination, right? Napoleon talks about everything starts with a thought, starts with imagination. So I can never forget you for that. But going back, if you could wave a magic wand and do one thing for Stephen, not somebody else, for a minute, what would you do?
I would give myself a quantum leap. I mean,
Wow.
but the
Okay.
reason for that is because I know that I have something that I have to share. And once I get a little bit further on, I'm going to be interacting with a lot more people. And that quantum leap is going to get me closer to my dream.
Wow.
And so that's exactly all I want to do is so if, in a sense, I don't care if I get the quantum leap or not, but I will get it. That's the point, is because it's coming to me no matter what. It's just whether it's a quantum leap or it's a gradual, slow progression, like progressive realization of a worthy goal, right?
A worthy goal. Wow.
Definition. So that's happening to me no matter what. But for the quantum leap, that would just, I think, help me and help a lot of other people too at the same time.
That's incredible. Wow. Quantum leap.
Oh yeah, I've heard Bob talk about that. 15 years ago, I didn't even understand that. I couldn't even get
Right.
what that meant. Like I was like, okay, is that like a frog? For some reason in my mind, a frog came. Was a frog jumping?
A frog.
I don't know why. Quantum leap,
Yeah.
when I first heard that, but then, you start hearing people, like other people, say the same term, and what is this? And you start learning. So
I remember the first time I saw him, I'm like, what the heck is he doing? Because what is the thing? He's got this thing where it's got all the balls, right? There's about 8 in the pendulum, and he pulls one back, and they all start swinging, right? And he talks about things that are in motion, right? The importance of energy and so on.
Yes.
And I really couldn't understand it at the time. But Stephen, I know I told you that was the last question, but as we're talking about this, I'm thinking, well, Bob Proctor was a guest, a cast member on Sir John Shin's movie Think and Grow Rich Legacy.
Yes, and I enjoyed that.
Right?
So
yeah, you're such a big fan as well of Think and Grow Rich. How does it feel to be a co-author in a book where Sir John Shin actually wrote the foreword in the book, and you guys are like part of the same book? How does it make you feel?
Honored. That I asked you, is John writing the foreword? I already said that a long time ago before, and it would have made a difference, of course. But if you didn't have John, you would have had someone equally as well. I know you. I feel that I'm part of this party. Call it what you will.
I love it. It is a party. It's life, right? Celebrating life.
Yeah, and there's no negativity. At least there's no intentional negativity, right? It might come up. It's all positive energy. And I already mentioned, I have a habit of interacting with only people that are going somewhere. It's not like I don't feel like I'm better. It's not like I feel like I'm better than anybody. It's just I don't want to associate with people that are going nowhere.
Right.
And that line
Wow.
comes directly from Bob. You know, I probably, I can also see John probably speaks very similar to the way Bob was, or go back to Napoleon Hill or some of the greats. You know, I see actually John on Facebook quite a bit, and he posts and sometimes they're very short and quick, but they make a lot of sense. You know, and so to me, to be around and associating with such people like him, yourself, Jay, Lindsay, all the brilliant authors that are going to be in volume 2 and volume 1 and volume 3. I'm very honored.
Actually, somebody who's watching right now has today just committed to being an author in volume 3.
Oh, congratulations.
Yeah. So, Steve, maybe what are the chances? Maybe we'll have you come back to be another book, like Pamela Geiger's second book.
Maybe so. Right? Maybe there'll be another time. We'll get something going together.
Well, awesome. Well, once again, everyone, thank you so much for joining us. And before you go, Stephen, any final thoughts from you that you would like to leave?
Well, final thoughts in relation to the book and what I wrote about is just make sure that your dream is large enough, because if it's not, you may not be pushing yourself enough to progress in the natural way that you should be. You know, you could have a small, tiny goal of buying a car. Well, that's too small, you know? And I've learned this from Bob, and I also wrote this part in the book where I specifically said I got this from Bob, is you have to make sure that your dream, whatever it is, has to be so big and so grand and so large that it scares and excites you at the same time. Now, 5 years ago, I had chills down my back because I went, oh no, am I actually doing this? You know, like my goal, I'm not there yet, right? My dream has not manifested yet, but I can progressively see that I'm going towards my dream. And I went, oh, I'm scared, you know, and you may go, well, why do it? Why do it if you're scared? No, do it. Yes. If you're scared. That's the whole point. You know? That's
incredible, Stephen. And yet I know you have had many accomplishments already, right? And you're living life on your own terms.
Absolutely.
Which a lot of people can't. They want to, but they haven't figured out how to do that.
They can. You're right. Yeah, they can. It's all starting from within, inside. It's not that difficult. Again, 15 years ago, I kept hearing everyone tell me, again, I'll go back to Bob and Raymond. I remember being in a monthly mentor course or class, actually, back when we were in classes with Raymond. And I remember sitting in the audience, there's only about 30 of us or so. And Raymond goes, why do they say the law of attraction is effortless? That was his question to the class. And I was like, because it is. It's that simple. And everyone looked at me like, well, I didn't mean to like say it like in a bad way, but that's the truth. Yes. It truly is. He was asking why. And I don't think I gave the answer why, but I just said it's so basic, so simple that even your people that could be watching this or don't know how to do it, they might be doing it already. They just don't realize they're doing it. That's all.
That's incredible. Well, Stephen, thank you so much for being here with us.
Thank you for letting me share.
Well, you're welcome, and taking the time. I know I said to you, let's do a 10, 15-minute conversation, and here we are almost 30 minutes later. We could talk for the next 5 hours.
I know you, Gordon. Right? Yeah, I wouldn't hang up the phone on you any day.
So thank you so much, everyone that's watching. Please remember next Wednesday from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. You're going to get to hear Stephen share his story live on Facebook. Sir John Shin, that Stephen mentioned, he's going to be there as well. And all the authors are going to be there. You can be able to meet them and hear their story. But more important, you'll be able to go to Amazon, pick up a copy of the book and support them to their journey and wanting to, serve even more, right? More people as they, read the Land of Success story. So thank you so much for joining us, everyone. Thank you, Stephen. Till next time, everyone, have an amazing day or evening. Thank you.
Take care now.